Hello, let's start our day. There's so much we can do. Come on, let's start our day so you can learn too. Hello, let's start our day. There's so much we can do. Come on, let's start our day so you can learn too. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Mrs. Hamilton's class. I'm Mrs. Hamilton and I have a couple of students with me today. I have Snoozer and I have Antonio. And they're going to be joining us as we get ready to learn all about what it's like to be in school. So before we start, I think I'd like to sing a song to break the ice here. It's all about our feelings and saying hello. So how are you feeling today? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Well, it's okay to be any one of those things. Right now, I'm excited because I'm so happy to be teaching you. But different people feel different feelings, and your feelings can change day to day. So you might feel nervous today, but tomorrow you might be very happy or very excited. So emotions are something that we all have, and they change day to day, and they're perfectly normal because everyone has them. So our song that we're going to be singing is a welcome song. And I'm just welcoming all of you. I'm saying, hi, how are you? And I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. So I might tell you to wave hello. I might tell you to tap your knees. I might tell you to jump up and down. And when I do, you can stand up. And I might tell you to clap your hands. Okay, so follow along with me. This is a song. It's called Hello Everybody, How Are You? 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 How are you today? Let's wave hello. Hello everybody, wave hello. Hello everybody, wave hello. Hello everybody, wave hello. Wave hello today. Now we're gonna tap our knees. Hello everybody, tap your knees. Hello everybody, tap your knees. Hello everybody, tap your knees. Tap your knees today. Hello everybody, clap your hands. Hello everybody, clap your hands. Hello everybody, clap your hands. Clap your hands today. Last one. Jump up and down. Hello everybody, jump up and down. Hello everybody, jump up and down. Hello everybody, jump up and down. Jump up and down today. Well, good job. Well, that felt good to get us moving and grooving. So, let's get started with our day. Now, when you enter school, when the teacher's talking, you should make sure you're following some listening rules. And in Mrs. Hamilton's class, our listening rules are: we watch with our eyes, we listen with our ears, our voice is quiet, and our body is calm. And we'll have other times when we get to get up and move around and play some games and write some letters. But for circle time, which is what we're going to be starting in a little bit, that's when you should be sitting crisscross applesauce or with your legs out in front of you and trying to keep your body calm and focused on the teacher. Because it's so important to listen in school. And that's a number one rule, that you listen to your teacher so you can learn all the wonderful things there are to learn in school. Well, I don't know if you have ever been to school. You might have been in a class last year and now you're just in Mrs. Hamilton's class this year. Or maybe you've never been to school at all, and that's fine too. So I welcome you if you're new to school, and if you're returning to school with Mrs. Hamilton, welcome as well. Well, I thought I'd start off with a story. Now this is a story about a little girl named Ming, and Ming goes to school. Now this school is right here. You get to watch on your television or computer, but this is a school that you can go to, and we're all getting ready to prepare for when we enter school. So I thought this might be a good story to start with. Ming Goes to School, and it's written by Deidre Sullivan. And look what Ming, she's wearing a backpack. Ming goes to school. Looks like someone's bringing her. It's where she learns to say hello. We're going to learn that in Mrs. Hamilton's class too. And say goodbye. Looks like she's saying goodbye to whoever dropped her off. I don't know if it's her daddy or her uncle. It's where she meets new friends. And you've already met a new friend. You've met Mrs. Hamilton and Antonio and Snoozer. And introduces the old, so it looks like she's showing one of her old stuffed animals. It's where magic fairy castles are built from sticks. Looks like she's outside. And growing up takes time. Sure does. We all start off small and then we grow and grow. It's where she giggles and rests. It's where she hosts pinky lifting tea parties. Must be playtime. And pretends to walk the plank. Looks like they're playing pirates. A lot of fun games that you can play using your imagination. It's where she squirms. That means she's wriggling around. And traces, glitters, and glues. It's where all things are worth waiting for. And it looks like she had a very good first day of school. Okay, well, every day in Mrs. Hamilton's class, we're going to be doing what I call circle time. And there's lots of different steps and lots of different songs that we're going to be singing every day. So right now, this is going to be very unfamiliar to you. But even when we start a full week next week, you'll be on the right track to join us with your binders and following along. But for the first couple days, I really want you to watch Mrs. Hamilton so you can get an idea of all the different things that we're going to be doing in school. This is the I Can Count by 10 song. And I think it's really important for kids to learn how to count by tens, because then when they head to kindergarten, they'll already know how to do that. So, this is a special song, and this is how it goes. I can count by tens. Ready now, let's go. I can count by tens. Here I go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Good job. Okay, well, I'm going to put my wand down and we're going to talk a little bit about the seasons. There are 4 seasons in a year, and they are spring, summer, fall, and winter. Now, I live in New York, and we get to see all the beautiful seasons, but depending on where you live, you might not get to see all the seasons. But in the spring, that's when leaves start to grow on all the trees. Summer is when it gets very hot and all the leaves grow on the trees, just not a little few buds, but all of the leaves. Then fall comes, and that's where the leaves start to die for the year, and they turn beautiful colors, and then they fall from the ground. And fall is also sometimes called autumn. And then the last season is winter, and that is where you sometimes get cold and snow. So, we're going to be learning a season song, and as we do our season song, we're going to be touching our head, our shoulders, our knees, and our toes. And we're going to be singing spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay? So follow along with me, and we're going to try and sing our season song. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. 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 There are 4 parts of a year called seasons. Called seasons. Called seasons. There are 4 parts of a year called seasons. Do you know which one that you are in? Well, that was fun. Well, now let's move on to the weather. Now, I've got a little chart here, and it has 2 arrows. And the arrows are going to help us pick what the weather's doing outside and maybe what the weather feels like. So after we look out the window, then we get to choose some words. I'm just going to go over the words with you now. Let's see. Windy. That's when the wind blows and the trees might be moving and things might be blowing around. Rainy, I'm sure we all know what that is. Cloudy, that means you can't see the sun because there's so many clouds up in the sky. Snowy, love when the snow falls. And sunny, Mrs. Hamilton's favorite is sunny. And then these are maybe some things that you might feel when you're outside. Warm, hot, or cold. So before we sing our song, we are going to have to look out the windows ourselves. So you can maybe pause this video and take a look outside, or listen to the song and then pause. So then you can get an idea of what the weather is like at your house. And then starting next week, you're going to be using your binders along with Mrs. Hamilton, and you're going to move the arrow and tell us what the weather is like at your house and what it feels like. And you're also going to pick what the season is, and you're going to help us count by tens and do our next job. But for now, we're just going to learn the song, and we're going to look out the window, and then I'll tell you what the weather is like at my house. Okay, let's sing our song. It could be warm or hot or cold or windy out, sunny or snowy or cloudy or rainy out. Let's all think of some words we can pick. Let's all look outside to see the weather. Weather today. Let's all look outside to see the weather. Weather out today. It could be warm or hot or cold or windy out, sunny or snowy or cloudy or rainy out. Let's all think of some words we can pick. Wow, I hope you picked out some good words. Mrs. Hamilton looked out her window and she discovered that it was a very cloudy day. So I'm going to move my arrow to the word cloudy. And it felt a little warm out. And look at that, the arrow's already pointing to that. But if it were different, I would have moved it. So Mrs. Hamilton's weather today is warm and cloudy. But remember, next week, you're going to get to pick out your own words. But I hope you have some in your head. Okay, last job are the vowels. and learning the vowels are so very important. The vowels are just some of the letters of the alphabet, but there's something that we find in every word. There's always going to be a vowel. So I'm going to review them with you now. And we're going to say this every day, and we're going to start learning the sounds that they make as well. The vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes if a word doesn't have a vowel, it will be a Y. There'll be a Y inside that word. So the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Okay. Well, that is circle time. So those are the jobs that we're going to be doing every day in school. And you're going to get better and better and better at it the more you do it. Well, I'd like to go over a nursery rhyme with you. Well, I decided to do the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb, because Mary is going to have something funny happen to her when she goes to school. And we're learning all about school today. So this must be Mary. And this is her lamb. Now, when we're listening to our rhyme and then singing it later, it's going to say, the lamb's fleece was white as snow. Well, a lamb is a baby sheep, and fleece is the name for its fur. So his fleece was white as snow, so that must be very white. Okay? So I'm going to say the rhyme and you follow along with me, and then after we'll sing a little bit of it. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rules. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. Now that is very silly, and I'm sure the children did laugh because I don't think I've ever seen a lamb at school. That's not really right. There's not usually animals at school, so that's kind of funny. Oh dear. Well, Jack, what are you doing in my school? This is my dog, Jack, and his fur is white as snow, isn't it? But Jack, I'm afraid Jack is only 2 years old, so I don't know if he's quite ready to be in Mrs. Hamilton's class. But maybe, Jack, you can visit us again after we start to learn our routines and things like that, okay? So I'm afraid, Jack, you can't stay. So why don't you go back up to your crate. Go on. And we'll see you another time. Oh, that's silly that Jack came to school. That's as silly as a lamb being at school, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side. And I'm sure you know the song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Do you? I don't know. Well, I'm going to sing the first part with you, and then we'll add a little more tomorrow. Okay? It's a very simple song. It goes like this. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Oh, Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. Oh, that's funny. Just thinking about Jack. His fur is white as snow too. All right, well, there are certain rules that you need to follow once you head to school, and Mrs. Hamilton has some of her rules up here, but these rules are more for when you're in a regular school, but I think it's important to go over what rules are expected of you when you do head to school. So our first rule under our classroom rules is get your body ready to listen. And that means that you should either be sitting crisscross applesauce, which I would show you right now, but I'm wearing a dress. But I'm sure you all know how to sit crisscross applesauce. Or you can just put your legs out in front of you. And see how the boys and girls are listening to their teacher, so they're not running around. So when Mrs. Hamilton's teaching her class, you shouldn't be running around and playing with toys, because this is learning time, and we'll do some fun things too, but not right now. Raise your hand and wait your turn. Do you know what that means? When you're in a classroom full of a whole bunch of children, whenever you think of something or you want to say something, you just can't shout it out. Because what would happen if there was a whole bunch of people all shouting out at the same time? It would kind of make your classroom very loud. So when you enter school and there's a whole bunch of other students in your class, you should raise your hand so the teacher knows that you want to say something, and then you wait until the teacher calls your name. So if I really knew an answer to a question, I would raise my hand, and then my teacher would say, "Oh, Mrs. Hamilton," and then I would say the answer. All right, our next one is keep your hands and feet to yourself. And that would probably apply to being at home too. So when you're in school, you shouldn't be touching your friends with your hands or your mouth or your feet. We keep our hands and feet to ourselves. And then the last one is just to treat others with love and kindness. So treat other people the way you would like to be treated. So you should always treat people kindly and with love, just like you would do your family members. Sometimes it's hard, but we should all try our best to treat others with love and respect. Okay, well, we have much to do today. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is start to get ready to write. Now, I hope you've been working on writing your name, because that is something that's very important in school. So that, I have some suggestions for your moms, dads, or grandmas and grandpas, whoever watches you, some different ways that you could practice writing your name. But we're also going to be learning how to write letters and numbers. But before we do that, we should do some practicing of tracing lines, ones that go this way, ones that go down, and our circles. And remember, whenever we make numbers or letters, they're gonna start at the top. I have a little song. It goes like this. Where do we start our letters? At the top. Where do we start our letters? At the top. If you wanna write a letter, then you better remember to start your letters at the top. So whenever we write a letter, whether it be in our name or if Mrs. Hamilton's teaching you a letter, you always have to start at the top. So we're going to be practicing making straight lines going down. So I have a special paper that your moms or dads or whoever's watching you can download, and then we're going to put it in our binders. So this is what it looks like. And after I was thinking about it, this is a little too big to go in the binder, because ideally when we write on our binder, I would like it to slide down because it makes writing easier that way. So you can fold this or cut it just so I can slide it into the binder. And you might need to have a mom or dad help you with this. So we'll slip it in here, because these boards are going to be, they're like whiteboards, and we're going to use them as a dry erase board. And that's why we're putting it under the plastic, so then we can erase. Ah, Mrs. Hamilton. Well, we'll do a little cutting lesson. When you cut, you put your thumb at the top, you put your other fingers in the hole, and I'm just gonna open and close with my scissors. And cut, cut, cut. Oh gosh, never rush when you cut. Let me try and go a little slower. Open and close. I'll try and change that on the website for you. All right. So we are making lines down, top to the bottom, called vertical lines. So I have a little dot up at the top that shows you where to start, and then there's a little arrow, so it tells you which way to go. And we're just going to be making straight lines down, starting at this dot and coming down to the bottom. So you are going to need a dry erase marker. It should be on your supply list. It could be any color. And we're just going to do this 6 times. And then if you would like to practice some more, then you can pause the tape and practice a little more, okay? But never, if we move on to something else, you shouldn't keep doing it because then you're gonna miss what else we're learning in Mrs. Hamilton's class, okay? So I'm gonna take the top off, watch this. It's gonna pop and my marker top sticks right into the back. All right, so we're gonna make some lines. Here we go. Start at the top. Try and stay as best you can on the line and come down. And try and make sure you're holding your writing marker, not in the middle. Oh dear, whenever you grip things, you should use, I went over this on the video for your moms and dads. You use your pinchers, pinch it from the bottom, push it up, and stick that other third finger in there, and you should be down at the bottom. Let's try it again. Start at the top, slide down. Now, Mrs. Hamilton's been writing for a long time, so if you're not staying right on the line, that is okay. This is our first day of writing, all right? But I'm just gonna do all 6 of these. If you make a mistake, that's fine. We all make mistakes. And when you're writing, you shouldn't be holding it up like this. I am just holding it up so you can see. So I'm gonna put it down now, just so you can see how you should be doing it. Start at the top, slide down. Start at the top, slide down. And we're gonna be making lines like this all the time when we learn to write. So it's just like the number 1. And I'm gonna grab a tissue. You should always have a tissue nearby. And watch this. Dun dun dun. It erases. So if you're trying to do this line and you're not used to holding a marker and it went like this, don't get upset. That always happens, okay? Just try again. So if you want to practice this a little more, you can pause the tape and practice a little more. Or if you want to do this later, you can practice after school, okay? So before we move on, make sure you're a clicker. I'm a clicker, you're a clicker, he's a clicker, she's a clicker. Wouldn't you like to be a clicker, to be a clicker? Watch this. It should click. And then you'll have it for the next time you need it. All right, so that is practicing writing lines. Tomorrow, we're gonna practice writing horizontal lines, lines that go left to right. And when we're learning our letters, we always go left to right. All right, well, I think I have one more thing that I wanted to do, and that is gonna be a little craft. And the craft is all about the celebration of your first day of school. So you are gonna need another paper that mom or dad or grandma and grandpa, who's ever watching you, should download, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so your paper is gonna look like this, and I'm gonna read it to you. It says, "My first day. Here are my hands with 10 fingers in all. My first mark in school to hang on the wall. As years go by, I'll remember and say, my hands and I had a good first day." So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting our hands on this paper. Now there's a couple ways you could do this. If you happen to have paint, you could have mom or dad or grandma and grandpa paint your hands, and then you can press them on there. But I don't have any paint with me today, and I'm gonna try and do this simply so you can maybe do this at home. So you are going to need someone to help trace your hands. And Mrs. Hamilton, I'm not 3, I'm not 4, I'm not 5 years old. My hands are very big. So this is gonna be a little tricky for Mrs. Hamilton, but I'm gonna teach whoever's watching with you some tricks for tracing your hand. All right, so mine are gonna have to overlap. You put your hand, now, whoever's tracing your hand, you have to keep your hand very still. And when we trace our hands, don't go too close. Otherwise it looks too skinny. So just kind of go around, la, round, around. Mine's overlapping because my hands are so big. Around, around. And here's the secret. Have the person lift their hand up. Oh boy, My pencil wasn't working very well. And then you just round the bottom like that. Now I'm going to have to trace over this. So you have 5 fingers on one hand, 5 fingers on the other hand, and that makes 10 in all. All right, here's the first one. And what I would suggest is having a mom or a dad outline it with maybe a marker. All right, now I gotta do my other hand. That's gonna be even trickier because I write with my right hand, so I'm gonna have to trace with my left hand. All right, hopefully my pencil will cooperate. Go around, no it's not. Around. Oh, Mrs. Hamilton, use this pencil. Here we go, around, around. It's important to be patient. And then lift your hand and then just round this, okay? And then you can color them in. So I think it would look really pretty if, and I think you might be a little young for that, but for a mom or a dad to trace this. So I'm just gonna do it real quick. I press really hard and go over my lines. 1, 2, 3. Now, Mrs. Hamilton's been teaching preschool for a long time, and there are some children in my class that have hands as big as mine. And then there are some kids that have the teeniest tiny hands, because we are all made differently. We come in different shapes and sizes and colors, and we're all beautiful. So I love seeing how all my hands look when the year starts, to see who has the big hands, who has the little hands, who has the brown hair, who has the blonde hair, who has the black hair, who is a very good artist, who is a good singer, who is very fast. We all have different gifts, okay? So I traced those, and then you could color them in or leave it like that. But that's a good memory of what our first day in Mrs. Hamilton's class was like. And if you make a mistake, you just print out another one. And you can even put this in a frame, so you'll have a special memory of your child's first day in school. So tomorrow, we're going to continue to talk about school, and we're going to talk about how special we all are. We're just going to set this off to the side. So I think before we go, I will teach you the 10 Little Fingers song, since we're learning about our fingers, okay? So in order to sing this song, you need to put all your hands out in front of you, all your fingers, that is, put your 2 hands in front of you. And this is how the poem goes. I have 10 little fingers, and they all belong to me. And I can make them do things. Would you like to see? I can shut them up tight. I can open them wide. I can clap them together. And I can make them hide. I can put them up high. I can put them down low. I can roll them around and fold them just so. Do you want to try that again with me? Let's do it one more time. You gotta get your fingers ready. And how many fingers do we have? 10. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 little fingers, and they all belong to me. And I can make them do things. Would you like to see? I can shut them up tight. I can open them wide. I can clap them together. And I can make them hide. I can put them up high. I can put them down low. I can roll them around and fold them just so. Good job. Well, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. We're going to play a group game of bingo with some of the things in Mrs. Hamilton's classroom. We're going to do circle time again, and it'll be a little easier this time because you've seen all the different areas once, and you'll get better and better as time goes on. And we're going to talk some more about school, sing some more of our Mary Had a Little Lamb song, and learn some fun movement games, okay? So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Good job following along, using your eyes, your ears, your voice quiet, and your body calm to listen and pay attention and learn at school. I'm proud of you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.